two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Granduer. I am one of your hosts, and today we are going on about a film that I know that I executively produced behind, and somebody in the room has acted in. So I'm going to turn it over to the Mr. Unknown in the group, the one and only Boris. Take it away.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, we could say today is a special day on our podcast because we are doing the movie Dark Zone 13 by Joe Sherlock, which is an anthology of 6 horror shorts, one of which is titled Boris, and it's one that I played the title character in. And that's the actual origin of the nickname I have had on this podcast since the very beginning. I actually have a few copies of this movie to show here. Here is my DVD copy of Dark Zone 13, released by Joe Sherlock. A limited VHS edition by James Chris Land from this distributor company named Poser Rat, which, if you can see on the cover, there is a screenshot from the Boris short, which I would say it's a great honor among all the 6 shorts. Why one was the one that got put on the front cover, and it's this really cool screenshot from the movie, which I didn't expect would turn out as good as it did. Maybe here you can see it better. Okay, or maybe not, because webcam quality is always kind of shitty.
And you're on the back of the actual.
Yes, it's on the back of Dark Zone 13 as well. So on that screenshot, I turned out even creepier than I expected, than I tried. So yeah, that's a shot we all are very proud of, me and the people who worked on it, and I think Joe Sherlock too. And yeah, obviously James Chris Land liked it as well, since he put it here. So yeah, here I also have a homemade version of my Boris short, which actually there are 3 different versions of it. The final version is on Dark Zone 13. A previous edit is which appeared on Joe Sherlock's Beyond the Wall of Fear as a bonus short.
Joe Sherlock now has a copy of that home, or will have a copy of that. I sent him a copy of
it. Oh yeah, that's also true. So I'm sorry, I'm having difficulties with space here. My room is a little cluttered, so I'm trying to reach this other copy of Boris, which, yeah, Dave got released along with his movie Tales of the Forgotten.
Well, I haven't released Tales of the Forgotten yet to the public, but I have released the Boris thing.
Oh yeah. But I do also have Tales of the Forgotten here, which I received.
Ladies and gentlemen, all he got it was a box.
Yeah, and wow. Wow, this Boris release looks very much like the one that I made, the same cover design, which is amazing. I must admit I initially wasn't planning for this DVD to be published, especially because the blooper reel, which, like I said, okay, maybe I didn't say it, but originally I made this DVD only for myself and the cast and crew and friends and family. And it contains a blooper reel which is not available anywhere else. And there is one clip on that blooper reel that I am not very proud of because it happened when I was filming one shot for the Boris short all by myself, and I was in a hurry and I had difficulty setting up my camera, and I used some really nasty Croatian bad language. And I eventually made that a part of the blooper reel, like I said, for the friends and family, and I didn't expect it would eventually be published this way, but oh well, apologies to everyone who hears that.
Well, nobody understands Croatian in the United States unless you're actually learned in um, the language. So I figured it would probably be fine. And plus, you
uh,
didn't put any subtitles so that people understand what you
uh,
say. So
no, there is no subtitles in the blooper reel, only in the main movie, in the main three versions of it, which appear on the DVD, both with and without the subtitles, because Croatian speakers may prefer it without the subtitles because it may be distracting with subtitles. But yeah, maybe I rambled enough about my own part, huh? Yeah, I'm sorry. Uh,
so what
so
movie are we going to go on about again? Dark Zone 13?
yeah, Joe Sherlock's Dark Zone 13, which, like I said, consists of six shorts. One of which was directed by me, another one titled The Doll was directed by Joseph Vogely and John Stone, and the others were directed by Joe Sherlock. IMDb says who are the main stars in this movie, but this info is not quite accurate. So the short movie star, the doll stars Ruby Solace, Prudence Nightingale, and that's all. And also the doll, which is just a doll. Then my movie Boris stars me, Philip Hanžek as Boris. Vicky Hanek, which is actually my mother, as Petra, and my friends Vedrana Vedrolina, Helena M, and Mislav Mic as Mira, Nevenka, and Damir. Then there is a short called Beyond the Corner of the Eye, which stars Jackie Neiman Jones, who is also very well known for her participation in the movie Manos, the Hands of Fate, which is one of the best known B movies in the world. And actually, I have to say, it's a huge honor to have my name on the same DVD cover with hers and VHS cover as well. So yeah, that
Well,
movie
and
starts.
Joe Sherlock had something I think a little bit to do with Manos: The Hands of Fate too,
Oh
which is
yeah, he was the director of photography on the sequel, which took place 50 years later or so. Wado's Returns, directed by Togia Atomic. Joe Sherlock was, like I said, the cameraman or the director of photography, if I remember correctly.
yep. I knew he had something to do with it. So,
Yeah,
which is why I think he was able to swing having the actress there.
yes, yes. Like I said, It's it's really a great honor. Let's see. Oh yeah, on the VHS you can actually see. I'm sorry, you can actually see. Not sure if this will show well on the camera, but both my name and Jackie Neiman Jones's name appear here, which is really amazing. And yeah, for those who don't know, this weird little outfit I put on for this discussion is not to impersonate Emperor Palpatine or anything like that, but because that's what I wore as my character in Dark Zone 13. Yeah, and who else does the movie star? Let's see. Yeah, Seamus Papadopoulos, which is some pseudonym of an actor we know very well from other Joe Sherlock movies. His real name is Rob Miracle.
I
And
thought
we
that was
also,
Rob.
yes, definitely. And Dee Osman also appears in that short. Then the fourth short, The Bath, it stars Donna Rooney, Stephanie Joy, and Melody Berg. Then the fifth short, Assisted Living, stars Richard Johnson, Roxy Mountains, and Emily Howard. And the sixth short stars Liana Williams and Jewel Siren. Well, that's what the front cover says. There are also some people wearing monster masks. I do not know their identities, but one face I did recognize was also Connor Sherlock, Joe Sherlock's son, who has also appeared in other Joe Sherlock movies. So yeah, and the movies were written all by Joe Sherlock, as far as I know, and directed, like I said, by Joe Sherlock, Joseph Wogiley, John Stone, and myself. And a friend of mine who is credited here as Fika LML, he was my assistant director. So yeah, shall we go into first impressions?
Sure. And do me second to last. So
Okay, then ladies first. Tammy, what were your first impressions? Was this the first time watching, and what were your first impressions?
I thought it was neat. I mean, I know that it's not like a mainstream movie or anything, but I thought you guys did a pretty good job and everything. It was, the first time watching it, I already knew who you were, so it was kind of, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he was pretty cool. And
Thank you.
the
Yeah,
other shorts that were in there, I think they did a pretty good job, on the effects and everything. So yeah, it was entertaining.
I'm glad
So
you like it. And well, of course, not trying to be too egocentric here, but special thanks for liking my part. It means a lot.
okay,
uh, and is that it, or do you have anything to add?
nothing to add right now.
Okay, what about you, Kroll?
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen it.
just one. The director just said, "Thanks for checking out the movie, everyone." Hey, Joe.
Oh, hi, Joe. Good to have you here.
Hey, Joe. Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool to have you here. I'm really sorry we didn't notify you about this sooner, but I'm really glad you could make it here. Mm, so, yeah, I think we interrupted Kroll, right?
We did.
Yep. Sorry about that, Crow.
We used to it with you. Yeah, as a first time watch, I thought the quality of the shorts were a lot better than I expected them to be. Philip did a good job on his part, and
Oh,
my only issue was all of them except like the last one had like open end. It didn't have like a real ending. It was just kind of like, well, what the hell happened? you know, like boys, the people who appear like, and then that's what happened. Like I don't know, it was like all of them were just I don't know. I just felt like there was needing an ending to them, and I was kind of left hanging. So I enjoyed them, but yeah, and of course the doll one was the worst or worst or scared. I don't like dolls. Dolls are creepy as it is. When they don't look
uh,
creepy. Yeah.
Uh, well, in that case, I hope you're going to forgive me for what I'm just about to show, but a local friend of mine has recently given me, as a belated birthday present, a creepy doll which he actually customized himself. The doll was originally a beautiful one, but he turned it into a horror thing specifically for me. And you can see that doll here. It's not quite similar to the one from Joseph Vogel's short, but it's yet another creepy doll, which I guess would become friends with the one from Joseph Vogel's short.
Great bag.
uh, okay, I'll put it away. Sorry, Crow.
Surgery before you work to it.
I don't like dolls either.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry, Tabby too.
China dolls are creepy.
Actually, one interesting fact about the doll from Joseph Fogel is short. Oh, okay, yeah, we can see it on the back cover on the VHS edition. Well, a version of it that's stained with fake blood. Well, within the story, it was real blood, but in real life, it was hopefully fake. uh, Uh, yeah, one interesting thing about that doll is back in 2010, which was a time when I was not quite a horror fan yet. I became one only 2 years later. At that time, I wasn't really into horror, but I had one really nasty nightmare in which a doll very similar to that one appeared, which is very interesting.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, sorry, did we interrupt you, Kroll, again? Did you have anything to add?
No, too much done. We can talk about it now. Say more on things.
Uh, okay, well, what about you, Dave?
Well, when I heard that you were going to be involved with this anthology, um, I contacted Joe Sherlock to see if I can't get involved behind the scenes because I was trying to add to my repertoire of executive producer titles. But I also like you a lot, Boris, as a person, and I wanted to stand behind you.
Oh,
And
thank
I'm
you.
glad that I was able to get a chance to help produce some of this to get that out there. So I'm very honored to also have my name along with the actors who played in Manos Hands of Fate. So thank you, Joe, for the opportunity of being able to allow me to be part of the project. And I am happy at the end result because each of them the level of filmmaking actually rose around this time period, and I think it shows. I mean, the doll. I, I like I like that the fact that he used the filmmaking technique that he used in Odd Noggins, where he, um, there was something inside of a box, and you got the view from, you know, whatever was inside the box coming out of it. You know,
Yeah,
um,
although interestingly enough, that short, The Doll, it wasn't filmed by Joe Sherlock. It was just like my short. That one was filmed by Joseph Vogel and John Stone. But yeah, there is a similarity.
yeah, there definitely is a similarity, which might be definitely an inspiration that Joseph Vogel got from seeing Joe Sherlock's work. So I'm and then of course yours were shot really well, and um, I think the special effects that Joe was able to add to them were pretty cool. Um,
Thanks.
and the noise that he was actually able to get for you, that was like spot on for what he wanted for your character. So I
Oh,
mean,
thank you. There's an interesting fact about that noise. Due to a medical condition of mine, my voice changed much later than it usually happens with men. In 2014, when the first part of the Boris short was made, my voice was still kind of childish, high pitched. Whenever I would talk to a stranger over the phone, like when I would make a phone call to a store or something like that, I would usually be mistaken for a child or a woman. And at that time, sorry, what?
Right,
I
you
said,
Sorry, I still didn't understand what you said.
oh, all I said was like
Ah,
and I said, annoying, isn't it?
sorry, Kroll, I didn't understand you either.
Annoying, isn't it?
Well, actually, I found it kind of funny. It wasn't bothering me too much. I know many people nowadays freak out when they get so-called misgendered, but to me, I took it as a joke. It never bothered me too much.
It pissed me off.
Something similar was happening to you as well.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
My,
sorry to hear that if it was.
I mean, my voice never really got that deep. So.
Uh, uh, I'm sorry if you were experiencing that and if it was actually affecting you. I personally was not too affected by it because I don't know. I always thought it was kind of funny, maybe because I had also cosplayed some female characters. So some people thinking I was a woman for entirely different reasons. I just found it hilarious.
okay,
Uh, but yeah, we have gone off topic. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
What?
That never happens.
I I
Yeah.
also found the rest of the short films in the anthology pretty good as well. I like the whole idea of bringing a Necronomicon type book into play. Um, Oftentimes the Necronomicon is kind of a mysterious like object that has always been said that it's been made by human skin. So I like the fact that he did kind of use that to his advantage, and so on and so forth. And the book looked very convincing, you know. So
Yeah, apparently
kudos
it
to that.
was. Yeah, within the story, I guess it's the covers are supposedly made of human skin or something like that, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
And yeah, it really was very
And
well done.
of course, I also like his adaptation of like independent horror people have displayed something reference in like the Bathory, the Queen of Bathory, the whole bathing in
The
blood.
Oh yeah, you mean Countess Elizabeth Bathory from? She was
Correct.
Hungarian, I think.
Correct.
Uh, yeah, she was known for, or at least that's what the legends about her say, that she was murdering young female virgins and bathing in their blood because she believed it would keep her younger for a longer time. And
Like
yeah, that was.
what?
Sorry, what?
Like the Countess what?
Yeah, that's the story.
Yep.
That was probably the inspiration behind the fourth short in this anthology titled "The Bath."
Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah, it is one of the more terrifying ones. And
So
uh,
I thought that made it definitely a different a different take on it, and I'm glad that that type of story was involved in here, making each of these stories just a little bit different from the other. That's part of the reason why I think this is one of the better anthologies that's out there in the independent industry.
ooh, I agree. And I'm not saying that only because I played a part in it.
It was Elizabeth Bathory was the Countess.
Yep.
Uh,
So on that note,
Yeah, I fought against her in Diablo video game.
that's right.
uh,
She was part of the story.
yeah.
But heading over to you, Boris. What your first encounter with the Dark Zone 13? Uh, once you finally went and saw yourself, what did you think?
Of course, this is not the first time I watched the movie. I watched it quite several times in 2019 when it came out. Uh, and now I rewatched it after a longer time. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed all the shorts. I think I kind of have a special fondness of the doll for multiple reasons. I find that one. Sorry, what?
It's like because you're creepy.
Well, sometimes
In
I
more ways
am.
than once. In more ways
Ouch.
than one.
Okay, then what are those ways?
uh, don't you know? I mean, you're the one wearing a hoodie.
That's no hoodie.
Yeah, this is not quite a hoodie. It's a black robe I originally had custom tailored for a prank on Halloween 2006, which was when I originally began getting interested in Halloween. And yeah, it eventually became a part of the outfit for my Boris short, which from that point on it's been known as the Boris robe, even though it was originally something entirely different. But yeah, um, so yeah. like I said, I especially liked the doll because, much like my short, it was a short that was filmed by someone else, and the footage sent to Joe Sherlock, who edited it together. But unlike mine, which probably has a lot to do with the different language and stuff, the doll is very. It turned out very much like other Joe Sherlock movies. Like, if you don't know, you cannot really tell it was filmed by someone else. It's very much a Joe Sherlock thing, and yeah, I also like it because of the doll, which, like I said, it reminds me of a nightmare I had years ago, which is. It was one of the nightmares that disturbed me more than any other back in the day when I wasn't into horror. Now, when I am, now I would kind of like to make a horror short of my own based entirely on that nightmare. uh, yeah. Other than that,
Nightmare.
what?
What?
What did you say?
Welcome to my nightmare.
Yeah.
Now it's
I uh, I did also like Jackie Neeman's short, although one kind of trouble I had with it was that that one has a longer and more convoluted story, a lot of which is told through characters just talking to each other, and there were parts, since I'm not a native English speaker, there were parts I somewhat struggled to distinguish, so I didn't fully catch up with the storyline of that one, so maybe you guys are going to help a bit, but I definitely like that one too because it has Jackie Demon Jones, who is, like I said, a huge name in the B movie world. Yeah, I did also like the bath, which yeah, it has a kind of shocking twist with the whole bloodbath thing. Uh, the assisted living also had a really cool twist. I expected the killing to go somewhat differently from the way it eventually did. And there was this last short, which was the shortest one, titled "The Hunter," if I remember correctly. Which,
Correct.
yes.
yeah, it's really short, but it's also cool because it features all these cool masks, which Joe Sherlock is very well known for these monster masks in his movies. And yeah, that one was really cool. Uh, so yeah, I guess that would be my first impressions. So maybe we should go with the plot now.
Sure thing.
Like, yeah, I guess we should start with the first short, which is Joseph
Well,
Vogel's.
there is a little bit of a narration before it begins. Basically,
Uh,
something of a lost tome of some sort.
oh yeah, yeah, true. I kind of forgot to read the synopsis on IMDb. So, Dark Zone 13 reveals the tales from the infamous 13th issue of a lost pulp magazine known as Dark Zone. Some people speculate the 13th issue couldn't be released because it was cursed. Perhaps it was too dark. Some supposedly even doubted that it even existed. And it was also said, which doesn't say it on IMDb, but it does say in the movie, that the magazine and the publisher vanished after the 12th issue, which may have something to do with the 13th issue remaining unreleased. But yeah, apparently someone found it, and they are sharing the scary stories that for years have been unseen. And those stories are supposedly the six that we see in the anthology. And But yeah, there is also Dark Zone 13 Part 2, which, much to my shame, I do not have yet, but I hopefully will have it soon. And maybe we can eventually discuss that one as well.
Are you in it?
No, I'm not in it.
No, that was a
Uh,
mistake.
uh, I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said that was a mistake. They should have had you in it.
Thank you. Uh, so yeah, the first scary story from the 13th issue is, as already mentioned, the Doll, which was directed by Joseph Fogel and John Stone, and yeah, as already said, featuring Ruby Solace and Prudence Nightingale, which is actually the pseudonym of Joseph Fogel's wife, who played a character with a bit of a plot twist. And the doll was, if I remember correctly, I think it was a handmade doll, which I think it was made by Joseph Fogel himself, if I remember correctly. Joe, if you are still with us, you can correct me in the comments if I no longer remember all the details well enough. Uh, but yeah, so we do not have a Wikipedia summary for this movie, for this anthology, so we have to go off our memory. Uh, so
Next after the doll were your two short films dealing with Horus, or at least the final cuts of both, kind of connected together.
Oh yeah, yeah. I will get more into that when we get to my short. I will explain how there ended up to be two parts merged into one. But yeah, for now, what do we think of the doll? Does anyone want to retell what happens in this short?
Well, I guess I can explain it in a little summary. So it looks like the main characteress, she tells a relationship off, and a friend comes over and um, consoles her a little bit, and then suddenly says she has to go, and she'll be back to pick up somebody's stuff or whatnot later.
Uh,
And around a little bit before the friend came over, a box came to her door.
That was
So,
not packaged correctly. Was just thrown together. This might want to.
yep. And Joe says Joseph bought the doll in a second-hand store, and he and his wife customized it for uh, the short with a clay type of material paint.
Ooh, that
So,
actually sounds a lot like what my local friend did for me.
except she's more of a blonde, more into
uh,
that type.
yeah, actually, the probable reason why he picked a blonde doll is not because I'm more into it, but as another joke about Croatian female YouTuber we all know and occasionally laugh about. A certain religious fanatic I sometimes watch for laughs, and I share some of her stuff with my friends, and we always have some good laughter with it. So my friend,
Dolls,
sorry, what?
dolls have more.
Yeah, so he picked a doll with blonde hair to make a reference to that YouTuber who also has long curly blonde hair. Okay, maybe she's no longer blonde. She was dyeing her hair blonde. She is naturally brown.
I thought the short
Uh,
film did its job, though. I mean, it kind of reminds me of like the Karen Black Tiki doll, uh, directed by. It's a short film that has Karen Black as an actress, and there's a tiki doll that comes alive and attacks her. And I'm sure it's definitely influenced by films of that nature. But like I said, the look outside the box as if you were the doll. Um, that just kind of somewhat reminded me of Joe Sherlock's
uh, Odd
odd,
Noggins.
odd noggins for a moment. So
Yeah,
and
similar thing. Oh, sorry.
and ultimately there is a victim that dies in the end of the short film. So that is what happens in the Tiki Doll short film as well. So
Uh,
not that it's the same thing, but it's the same subject matter, you know.
oh yeah, the main character gets killed eventually. The one, as you said, who apparently had some relationship issues and broke up with a partner. And an interesting moment is when she realizes the doll is alive and trying to kill her. She starts throwing random stuff at the doll in self-defense, and one of the things she throws is a dildo. Not sure if any of you have noticed that.
Yes, I noticed. I said,
Uh,
"Who the
Well,
other way?" I lied.
uh,
and I think this is a trademark of Joe's. He always has like a government conspiracy, and like towards the end of some of his short films. So there's a running gag of government like cover-ups in some of his short films and features, and a lot of times it'll involve the Mr. Birch character, but um, in this one, I think Joseph actually involved like some kind of like scientific uh, secret group, or so it kind of went with the Sherlockian territory, you know. So
Oh, yeah, it turned out the character of the main woman's friend, who is played by Joseph Vogel's wife. She turned out to be a traitor, some sort of evil secret agent who was actually involved with someone who sent the doll. We didn't really find out who it was, but yeah, apparently the doll was sent with the specific purpose to kill this main woman for some reason. And then when she was killed, her friend came over to clean the house and eliminate all the evidence and took the doll away, which was covered in blood after killing the main girl. And of course, before the woman is killed, there is a scene of her naked in the shower, which is another very specific spice of Joe Sherlock's movies.
yes, he loves his shower scenes.
Yeah, especially with plus-sized women.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, most of the Hollywood movies end up using these skinny mini in skirts that you know.
Skinny, beautiful, gorgeous women that everybody wants to see.
Uh, yeah, well, nothing wrong with it. As I was going through Joe Sherlock's work for the first time, when I saw the first few ones with plus-sized women, his older ones were not like that, but the newer ones are. Yeah, the first few I saw, I found it kind of funny, but over time, it kind of became, like I said, the unique spice of Joe Sherlock's movies, something that makes them what they are. And now Joe Sherlock's movies would no longer be Joe Sherlock's movies if they didn't have plus-sized women.
Well, yeah, and I think it's a detriment to who he is. That he um, he definitely will not um, body shame anyone. Throughout his films. I mean, he'll treat them just like a regular actress and give them an opportunity to show their acting and acting capabilities. You know what I mean?
Ye- yeah,
So that
which
anyone, any Joe Schmo, could get up in front of a camera and act a part.
yeah, which also reminds me of the movie Drifter, where we saw Bob Olin, who played the title character. He shows his naked butt in that movie with an Elvis Presley tattoo. Which I think Joe once told me that he did not plan to have that in the movie, but I think Bob Olin filmed that just to goof around, and Joe decided to keep it in the movie. If I remember correctly what he told me.
Yep. And then your first Boris short is right after the Dow.
Oh, yeah. Now, of course, I could ramble about my short infinitely. Uh, so, yeah, the story of my short, as you already said, it consists of two parts. The initial plan it was initially imagined as one short, which it originally ended with this part where my mother's character runs away after a close encounter with Boris, with my character. So yeah, the basic story of my short is there is a haunted house in Croatia, and a woman named Petra, played by my mother, she moves into the house. The script for the short was originally written for three actors aside from myself. Yeah, there was supposed to be the character of Petra and a husband of hers named Marco, who was supposed imagined to be played by my father, but he was too busy with other things and couldn't really participate in the project that way. So his character was written out, and instead it was said, as my mother's character says in a phone call, that her husband is on a business trip. Um, yeah, and the story was, yeah, this couple moves into a haunted house, which they originally don't know it's haunted by, but weird things start to happen to, yeah, my mother's character. She like has nightmares and experiences getting cold inside the house for no reason, for no apparent reason. Uh, sorry, Kroll.
I said, you're haunting your mother.
Yeah. Yeah, there is one clip where I am standing behind her and waving my hand like I am casting some sort of curse or something.
When my mom
uh,
was alive, I would love to have haunted her.
oh, yeah, and
I'm sure we've
oh,
all had our moments.
yeah, and then Petra receives a letter from a person who lived inside the house previously and
And that's when you
successfully
kind of get
moved.
a backstory of Boris a little bit, at least from Joe's perspective. Correct.
Oh, sorry, what do you mean from Joe's perspective?
Well, isn't he who told you how he wanted the story to go?
Oh, yeah, pretty much. Well, we were kind of arranging it together to make it relatively simple to film with things I have at my disposition. Like Joe knew about my robe, which I always liked since I had it since 2006. I was 15 years old when I got it, and it's kind of an item with sentimental value. So yeah, it was really cool to have it here, and a Ouija board, which I have it here. If you can give me a moment, I can get it out to show it on screen. If you can give me a moment.
Sure.
Okay, just a moment, please. Here it is. Okay, good. Now let me place
I believe
myself
you were
back in
wearing
the chair with this
I
robe,
believe-
which is huge. By the way, it's very difficult to walk in it. Kind of it helps me understand what women go through when they get married in huge wedding gowns. uh, okay. Oh god damn it! With the guy. Okay, now I'm here, and now you can. Now I can show my Ouija board that I used in the Boris short, which, interestingly enough, an identical Ouija board was earlier used in John Bowker's The Seekers, which is one of the reasons. No, let's not
I,
bullshit here. It's very much the reason why, when I was buying a Ouija board, why I bought one exactly like that. uh,
and
yeah.
funnily enough, that's the same one we used in Tales of the Forgotten, which
Oh
as we
yeah, yeah, very true.
Joe as we speak.
Yeah. What an awesome name.
So it is an awesome name. Thanks to Kroll, he helped me come up with it, the name. So thank you for that.
Oh yeah.
But in any case, so in the there's kind of a flashback with you. You're not actually wearing your hood. You're actually wearing something that had stripes on it or something like that, like old prison uniform.
A school uniform. Well, actually, it's a random T-shirt which I still have now. Now I don't wear it very often. It was this T-shirt.
But it kind of does look like the old prison uniforms that you'd see in a Looney Tunes cartoon. I mean, not the nowadays orange jumpsuits, but
yeah. So since this shirt was made, I very seldom wear this shirt because I want to keep it in a good condition because now it's a movie prop and it has a special meaning now.
I feel you on that. And then the second Boris short film. Why don't you explain a little bit of it?
Oh yeah. So okay, I didn't say. Oops. Or maybe my house is haunted and the character I played has just knocked my camera down.
You're probably still haunting yourself.
Definitely. So yeah, we find out that my character was playing with a Ouija board and he accidentally summoned an evil spirit that killed him and turned him into yet another evil spirit that remained haunting the house. And apparently most of the people who, yeah, his family disappeared too, and mostly everyone who has moved into that house ever since either either died or disappeared, or some have managed to escape, including my mother's character. Or actually, when there was only this first version of the short, which only contained the part with my mother, uh, yeah, we saw her running after encountering Boris, but we didn't see her run out of the house, so her character's fate kind of remained unknown. But and yeah, that short was originally imagined to be a part of a sequel of Joe Sherlock's old anthology called Truly Dreadful Tales. He originally imagined there would be kind of like a sequel, like four new truly dreadful tales, which were going to be posted on YouTube, but uh, I turned out to be the most enthusiastic one among everyone for that project. He sent scripts to other people, but they didn't end up getting made for one reason or another. Mine was the only one that was finished, and yeah, eventually it became a bonus short on an anthology called Beyond the Wall of Fear. It was actually a second edition of the short, not the first edition, which the first edition has been unreleased until this thing became available, where you can see all the three shorts. So the first edit was the longest, and the second one, which appeared on Beyond the Wall of Fear and eventually on YouTube as well, it's slightly shorter, and some things were edited. Like there is a part where my character is reading a book about demons, and I used the real book that I have, which I don't have it right here at hand. But yeah, it was a book you could actually see the title and the author's name, and Joe Sherlock didn't feel safe having something like that in his movie for possible copyright issues, so he edited it and changed the cover of the book into something of his own, and he slightly altered the design of the Ouija board as well. So
Okay.
yeah, that was the second version. And the third version, which is in Dark Zone 13, yeah, I'm finally getting to that one. Sorry, I can't help myself rambling. uh,
Problem.
Thanks. Yeah, so what happened was I spoke to some local friends of mine and found out they liked B movies. So I we watched John Bowker's The Seekers, which everyone knows is the first B movie I ever watched, and to this day my favorite. Uh, and not sure if you maybe also saw The Evil Maker before, but yeah, I ended up showing them my Boris short, and it was initially a joke, but they said, hey, maybe you should make a sequel. And I asked, well, would you be willing to play in one? And there were four of them, and three of them, which were my friends Vedrana, Helena, and Mislav. They said yes. This other guy, Fika, his real name is also Philip, like mine, but his nickname is Fika. He said he would rather not appear on screen, but he would be glad to help us as an assistant director and stuff like that. So yeah, then I suggested it to Joe Sherlock, and he said, "Yeah, I could write a script for a sequel." And we ended up filming the footage for Boris too, but Joe eventually ended up shrinking the first Boris short even more and merging it together with the footage we made for the sequel. And so these two parts, which if you watch the movie, it's very much obvious that it's two movies in one, because the first part is with my mother, and then she suddenly disappears, and these new characters appear. So yeah, that's the two parts. And yeah, the second part is about two girls who have moved into the house after Petra, my mother's character, moved out. And yeah, they experienced the hauntings as well. There is an extra nightmare scene which was filmed in a very old ancient part of my town known as Tvrdja. If you Google it, you may actually find something about it in English.
Well, yeah, this is the first time you get to see Boris as a stalker.
The first time, are you implying it's not the only time?
Well, it's not the only time, but at least it's the first time that you do so outside of the main house that you're technically supposed to be on.
Yeah, we were filming that second nightmare scene outdoors. And funnily enough, the first nightmare scene with my mother, it was filmed at the building of my college. I was a college student in 2014, and I
Oh,
arranged it.
when you and your mother are marching down the hallway.
Yeah, exactly. I really, yeah, Joe said it could be like a staircase or something, whatever I had at my disposition, but I really wanted it to be this nightmarish hallway, like as there often are hallways in people's nightmares, and I really wanted to make it something like that. And I spoke to someone from the college, and they granted us permission to film these few shots there. uh, my mother, well, she participated in that project mainly for me. She doesn't normally see herself as an actress. And when I told her we were filming one scene at the college, she was like, "Oh, what the hell did I get myself into?" Yeah, but as you saw, we did it. And yeah, the second nightmare with my friend Vedrana was at yeah in this ancient part of my town.
I wonder what she thought when you were going to return to the character for this anthology. What was her reaction
My mother's reaction.
to doing since we finally finished the first anthology of Tales of the Forgotten?
Oh, she was fine. She sometimes even helped me put the camera together and stuff. Yeah, she wasn't participating much in that project. Well, yeah, she was helping me with the makeup and special effects and stuff like that. And when we had an ugly meal with spiders and stuff in a sauce that looked like blood, she helped me put some actually edible and good tasting but very ugly looking stuff together.
Which you can all see in Tales of the Forgotten.
Oh yeah.
We'll be having a release date eventually. So, but
Mm,
let's get back to this anthology.
yeah, so after my friend Vedrana, or Mira is her name in the story, after she has this nightmare, we find out that she and another friend of hers by the name of Nevenka have moved into the house, and they experience similar hauntings to what Petra experienced. And then they receive a guest by the name of Damir, who is played by my friend Mislav, who in real life is Helena's boyfriend, interestingly enough. Oh, and there is one really interesting thing I just must mention. So, Damir brings a movie to watch, which is actually Joe Sherlock's older anthology titled Beneath a Dead Moon. And when I was arranging this second short with Joe, there was a moment when they were, and Mira, Nevenka, and Damir are supposed to watch a horror movie, and I asked Joe if he would maybe like me to use to show some of his movies on screen, as he likes to do that in his movies as well. And he said, since you like Felicia Pandolfi a lot, who played in John Bowker's The Seekers, which is you can actually see I have a framed picture of her character from The Seekers, Total
Of
Evil,
course,
which what?
of course you would.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, Joe said I could use some of her footage in my short if I want to. So yeah, I had my characters, the characters played by my friends, watch a short from Beneath a Dead Moon that features Felicia. And one very interesting thing about it is, as some of you may know, the last movie she really played in was Joe Sherlock's blood-sucking redneck vampires from 2004. And after that, she like pretty much disappeared from the face of the earth. There is, if you really dig deep, you can find very little information about her, but it's impossible to find out what she looks like nowadays. But yeah, an interesting thing is before Dark Zone 13 existed, Felicia's IMDb page said her last movie was Blood-Sucking Redneck Vampires from 2004. But now, with Dark Zone 13, her IMDb page kind of falsely implies that she returned to acting in 2019 with Dark Zone 13 because since she appears on screen, she is credited as if she was in My Boris short. So her name appears on IMDb for Dark Zone 13. So, yeah, which is interesting. Like she was in movies from 2001, 2002, 3, 4, and then suddenly 2019,
Well, it's
which
only
is
right if she's on screen somewhere that she'd be credited to. So, what can you say?
uh, well, okay, I don't know for sure, but I think it's not the first time that Joe credits actors who appear in movies, in his movies, if you get what I mean.
I get it. So, moving on after Boris 2, which is now part of this whole Boris short film. What is the next short film that's in this anthology?
Yeah, next is, as already mentioned, Jackie Neiman's short. Well, Joe Sherlock's short, actually, but known for featuring Jackie Neiman Jones. It's called Beyond the Corner of the Eye, if I remember the title correctly. And yeah, it's the was by far the longest one in the anthology, and it has a longer and more convoluted story. Also deals with Lovecraft, which I myself didn't read, much to my shame. So, if any of you are more familiar with Lovecraft's work, maybe some of you want to retell the story of this short, and after you do, I will have some fun facts to share about this movie. Sorry, Dave, what did you
Well,
just show?
the Lovecraft Collection, Classic Tales of Cosmic Horror. I have a collection of
Oh,
H.P. Lovecraft stories in here, and a lot of them, like Dagon and Beyond the Wall of Sleep, and let's see, the Statement of Randall Carter, um, and short films like that. Ended up From Beyond has been done by Stuart Gordon, who is now rest in peace dead.
ooh.
Let's see. I know. As a Thoth has been turned into something. I think the Lurking Fear was put out by Charles Band. The Rats in the Walls, I think, have had something out there. The Shunned House, that's been done. Cool Air is one that's been done over and over. Definitely a lot. The Call of Cthulhu and Pickman's novel have definitely been done. So The Color Out of Space has been done twice. Um, the Dunwich Horror is definitely been done twice, if not a little bit more. Um, the Whisper in the Darkness has been done. So the Dreams in the Witch House was done as part of that Masters of Horror series. The Thing on the Doorstep, that's been done. The Evil Clergyman, that's been done. The Haunter of the Dark, that's been done. So there's been definitely a lot of H.P. Lovecraft stuff that has been, put out, in film adaptations. I mean, he's influenced a lot in the um, in the independent industry as well as the mainstream aspect of things. So, but yeah. Basically, the short film involves a writer who has a guy comes up, says something about being part of a podcast, wants to get together sometime, hands her a card, and then next we see them actually sitting down and discussing, paranormal things that have to do with the occult and vice versa. And then, of course, we see her end up going and looking at this piece of paper that has a blood smudge on it, as well as being followed by people, right?
Yeah, I actually have a replica of that prop which was made by James Chris Ladd from Poser Art. It came as a bonus with the limited edition VHS. And great, my phone has just fallen down again.
It's okay.
Sorry about that.
So, what did the rest of you two think about this short film that involves the Book of the Necronomicon? What did y'all think about that? Beyond the what was it called?
Beyond the corner of the eye.
What did y'all think about that Crow? What did you think about that particular short film?
What? I'm sorry.
What did you think?
Short film that involved
Jackie Diva Jones
and the writer.
It was good. It reminded me of a Lovecraft story, and as soon as I saw the book, I was like, "Oh, the Necronomicon!" So I knew exactly what it was and what it was from and everything. So it was interesting.
Okay, Tammy, what did you think about that particular short film?
I thought it was cool because as soon as I saw the book, I knew what it was. Yeah. So I definitely found it very interesting.
Yeah, I also found it interesting, but like I said, due to my first, there is the fact that I haven't read any Lovecraft, much to my shame, and I'm not a native English speaker, and there were parts of the dialogues that I was struggling to distinguish. So I would have to sit down and really analyze this short closely to figure everything out. So yeah, in this one I got a little bit lost in the plot, and I'm really sorry about that. Special apologies to Joe for that.
Well, it definitely seems like there was this other group that appears that they were after the book of the Necronomicon, and they thought that they had the writer made, and except she had a what I would call a deadman switch, which it was this piece of paper that once she opened it up, she couldn't stop staring at it, and it just kind of destroyed her.
I
And the fact that you know he had a creepy ass looking dude that the writer was talking to, and like matter of factly, like, well, this wasn't the real book. I've kept the real book secret from these guys. So here it is, and you know,
yeah.
basically they thought that they had the drop on her, and they didn't, because she was much more smarter and had a little bit more sorcery with her.
Yeah. And even though I may not have understood the entire story of this movie, this short, I do have some interesting details to share about it. Actually, a very sad story that some of you may not know. Uh, you may have seen at the very end of Dark Zone 13, it says the movie is dedicated, the anthology is dedicated to the memory of the actor Tom Schafer, who passed away a few months before Dark Zone 13 was made. And actually, I have a very strange story to share about it. Some of you may think I am making this up, but what I am about to say really happened. And if Joe is still with us, he can confirm this. So early in 2019, I think it was January 2019, I was chatting online with a friend of mine who knew about my interest in John Bowker's The Seekers, Felicia Pandolfi, and all that. And I shared John Bowker's movie The Evil Maker with her, another one with Felicia Pandolfi, and she watched it and we were discussing it, and that movie contains as we all know, Joe Sherlock's movies as well as John Bowker's movie, there is this common trope in them that characters watch something on TV, and what you see on TV is a clip from another Joe Sherlock movie. And there is this one scene where Felicia Pandolfi and Stephanie Beaton are watching a clip of a woman melting into yellow goo, which appeared in two Joe Sherlock movies, on Noggins, which we have already mentioned in a different context, and an anthology called Trailer Park Double Light Trilogy of Terror. And as I was discussing Devil Maker with my friend, we mentioned this scene. And when I found myself thinking of Trailer Park Double Light Trilogy of Terror, I remembered another short in that anthology which features the actor Tom Schafer. And I didn't know what was happening with him at the time. And when I just randomly thought about him, and maybe I mentioned him to my friend, I said, wow, we haven't seen this actor in Joe's movies for a while now. I wonder what's up with him. But yeah, like I said, I maybe mentioned it to my friend, or maybe I just thought it to myself, but I didn't mention it to Joe. But next day, I was in a car and on the way to my grandmother's place, and I saw a crow on a traffic sign, and it made me. When I saw that crow, I found myself thinking of the movie Damien Omen 2, where a crow or a raven in that case, but that's a very similar bird in that movie, a raven appears when someone is about to die. And when I saw that crow, that movie crossed my mind. But okay, I wasn't thinking about it much. But later, when I came home, I saw a message from Joe Sherlock telling me that Tom Schafer had passed away last night. The actor whom I had randomly thought of the day before. Next day, after seeing that crow, I received Joe Sherlock's message about that actor passing away, and that really saddened me, and the bizarre coincidence kind of shocked me. And if, like I said, this is a really bizarre story, some people may think I am making this up, but like I said, if Joe is still with us, he can confirm that I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, I seem to remember you mentioning something like that at one point in time, and I remember when Joe posted about that. So rest in peace, Mr. Schaefer. I dedicated
Yes.
Um,
the episode.
not to interrupt, guys, but I got a cruise.
Okay.
So
Oh,
it's
that's
on.
sad.
Well, if you can hop back on, feel free. If not, I guess we'll see you later.
See you
Uh,
later.
okay, if you can get back, you can tell us your thoughts on the production and all that. If we are here long enough, which we may be, since I obviously cannot shut up about this anthology.
Well, we'll see. The first time we're
It,
leaving
it's
doesn't
definitely
always leave right away.
it's
So,
definitely a small world and definitely a quite a thing to have happen.
all right,
I have a
guys.
similar.
Catch up.
Yeah. See you later.
Yeah, see you, Tammy.
I have a similar story with a friend of mine from college.
Yes.
I was talking with a girlfriend of mine from college, like the day before, and then I was crossing the street and I was hit by a car, and it was evidently at that moment that I was hit by a car that that my friend had died. Now I did not know this until the next morning when my
Oh.
ex girlfriend at the time actually told me that she had passed away due to having Lou Gehrig's disease. So,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry to hear that. My condolences.
yep. Um, we were really good friends in college, and this was way before I met Tammy. But I relate because it seems like there are some times those moments, you know.
Mm,
So
yeah. And Tom Schafer, from what I was informed when I was told about his death, I think he had cancer, if I remember correctly.
uh, well, Joe, if you're listening, I'm not sure if I said anything at that point in time, but I am sorry for your loss
Yeah,
of Tom Schafer. So
yeah. I'm sorry for your loss as well, even though I have said that to you before. But yeah, that really is a huge loss. Tom was a great actor, and you mentioned he was also a director, and you appeared in some of his movies. So yeah, that's really tragic, and I'm. Once again, I am sorry for your loss. And yeah, for those who don't know, uh, this short, Beyond the Corner of the Eye, Jackie Neeman's character is named Dr. Mobius, and the book she's published is titled Dimension of Blood. And Dr. Mobius was originally the name of Tom Schafer's character in one of Joe Sherlock's very earliest movies, which was
I,
titled
I
Dimension of
also
Blood.
noticed. I also noticed in one of the short films, one of Joe Sherlock's magazines, Doctor Squiggles, or Squid.
Dr. Squid.
Yeah, was being read by one of the characters in one of these short films in this anthology, I believe.
Yeah, I think that happened on more than one occasion in Joe Sherlock's movies. Oh yeah, in my Boris short, my friend Helena, who plays Nevenka, there is a moment when she was reading something in the script. It was said she could just be reading a random book, but yeah, I figured out why wouldn't I make it. Another Joe Sherlock reference, so I had her read a copy of the Doctor Squid zine.
So, what is next, short film wise, as far as in this anthology? Since we're going down,
Yeah,
down.
the next is The Bath, which we have already mentioned. The one inspired by Elizabeth Bathory, or whatever her name is pronounced like in Hungarian. Uh,
Yep.
uh, yeah, this one has a more simple story, just more visually gruesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, Definitely, it starts in a theater and ends in a theater.
yeah. So we see two women in theater watching a movie, and we see one woman sit behind them, and at the very beginning we are not aware of the significance of that woman. We maybe some people wouldn't even notice her at first. Maybe they would just assume she is just another member of the audience without realizing she is actually a character.
Yep. But
Uh,
two women that happen to be very relatable to each other. One happens to be in skincare. The other works in a bookstore of some sort. I forget exactly what the friend actually does, but the two friends get together after seeing a movie with John Bowker in it. I believe that's John
yeah,
Bowker.
yes, it's him, but unfortunately, much to my shame, I cannot remember what movie that is. Joe told me at one point, and since I have all of his movies except for the last few, which I still have to catch up on. Uh, yeah, I probably saw that movie, but like I said, now I cannot remember what it was. Maybe
I do
it
like
could
the
be.
effect that he did it did to show that the movie was in a movie theater where it was like all boxed in like that. So you weren't just watching it on like a television screen. It did actually seem like they were watching it on a screen.
Yeah, well, sometimes Joe Sherlock rents a movie theater room to screen some of his movies, so yeah, that can happen. Uh, and yeah, in those clips, oh yeah, it could be the John Bowker short from Beyond the Wall of Fear, where I forgot the title, but yeah, he, oh yeah, maybe the title was Walking the Dog. He was walking the dog, and there a monster appeared and attacked him.
Okay.
So maybe this is that short, but like I said, I'm not sure. But yeah, in this movie, or in these few clips, we also see the dog, which is Joe Sherlock's dog, Piper, who unfortunately also recently passed away. She was an amazing dog. She was in many Joe Sherlock's movies. She was kind of an icon in them. I will never forget her part in Blood Creek Woodsman. Yeah, where there was a really interesting scene, as there are sometimes there is a scene in horror movies where a dog finds a mutilated corpse and starts eating the corpse for a really gruesome horror scene. But for such scenes, they usually find some not very nice looking dogs. They usually choose some that look menacing to make it even more gruesome. But in this case, with Joe's Piper, who was a really cute little white dog, when you see her eating fake blood from a corpse, instead of looking scary, it looked morbidly hilarious, which was probably the idea. Okay, no, Joe once told me that. The original idea was to have two scary looking dogs pulling an intestine or something like that. But in order to make that happen, they would have needed really well trained dogs, and they didn't really have such dogs at their disposition. So they filmed that scene with Piper, but it turned out really well. It turned out like some morbidly funny scene with a cute little dog eating a human corpse. So yeah, that's of course that's far from the only scene we saw Piper in Joe Sherlock's movies, but that's the one that stuck with me the most personally.
Uh,
Uh,
so Joe says the footage in the theater screen in the past segment were bits a shot with John Bowker to be used in a fake movie trailer that eventually was used on Channel 99, which
A, yeah, Channel 99 is one of those movies that I am still to watch.
here too.
Uh,
But I figure we can cover those on this channel eventually.
hopefully.
So in any case, so after the Bath short, I believe is the Assisted Living short film, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the bus, well, we have already mentioned how it ends. The woman behind the two in the theater, she makes acquaintance to the two women, and she was played by Donna Rooney, playing a character named Roberta, who turns out to be this psycho killer inspired by Elizabeth Bathory, who kidnaps women or maybe also men, not sure now. But yeah, she kills people and bathes in their blood apparently because she thinks it keeps her skin healthier. Um, so yeah, that's basically the story of the movie. And after she has killed this main woman, she goes after new victims. And that's basically the story of that one. But yeah, then we go to the next one, assisted living. Uh, does do you want me to retell the plot of that one, or do any of you want to do it?
I can tell the plot of that one. So there is an old man who seems to it's like a situation in like hospice care where he's got someone taking care of him, and
Yeah, he is
he's got
apparently
a little
old
bit
and
of
sickly and
he's got a little
pretends.
bit of a perverted mind though, because he definitely makes comments like, I could think of some other ideas that we could do in this bath. Sorry about my boner, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so he's definitely interesting character where he seems to be like your regular old perverted man who can't really do much except for eat his oatmeal and follow the rules, even though he would like to be doing more.
Yeah. Although you can kind of tell if you look at his face that he is not really that old. I mean, this actor, Richard Johnson, I think that's his name, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he is one of the older actors in Joe's movies, but
Well, yeah,
not
but
really.
it does seem to play the character really good because he's got that stooped walk to him when he's walking, you know. So he definitely played the part.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
he brought a little bit of his own humor into the to the whole thing. So you can tell he's got um, a humorous side to him.
Definitely.
And of course, we definitely know Roxy from some earlier films of Sherlock's, and she definitely does not have a problem getting naked. So
Yeah.
um, there's a hot tub moment where he's like, "I need help getting up," um, and of course, he's a bit of an old Dracula type
Uh,
character.
oh yeah, yeah. No, that's an amazing twist. It really took me off guard when I was watching the movie for the first time. I really didn't see that coming. Like until that moment, the movie, since if you know other Joe Sherlock movies and you follow the story of this movie, and yeah, this woman is his caretaker, and
I,
he keeps saying all this dirty stuff to her. And knowing Joe Sherlock's work, it kind of makes you expect the woman to go psycho and kill him when she has enough of his bullshit. But instead, you actually get him who, until then, appears this old and sickly, physically incapacitated man. He turns out to be a vampire and he bites her and sucks her blood out to death.
was he a vampire or was he a blood drinker? Those are two different questions that I would put to him. I would say that it does have a more vampiric nature to it, but he did not have like the typical vampire teeth. You know,
Well, I actually don't know the difference between a vampire and a blood drinker, but
a blood
later
drinker
in
will actually bite into the person and drink their blood.
isn't that what vampires do too?
Not quite because well they do, but vampires get some kind of energy doing so, whereas this guy just seems to be biting and drinking his victims for fun or whatnot, not like gaining any like young Garrity. No,
Uh,
um,
so a blood
no
drinker
magical
can
powers
actually.
because of it. You know.
Oh, so a blood drinker is actually an actual human being who just drinks people's blood.
Yeah. But I can see why people would get that vampiric feel for it. You know.
Uh, yeah, but in this case, okay, yeah, we didn't see the teeth, but at the end of that short, when this other woman
Yeah,
kills him,
she called him a
she,
damn vampire at the end of the
yeah,
segment.
yeah, vampire bastard, and
Yeah,
she
we don't
stabbed him
really
in
see
the
his
heart.
name. So you can think either or. I honestly think that this one is more like an ink block test. You can think that he's a vampire or a blood drinker. No matter what, it does the effect. So and rather well too. So
Yeah, so like I said, the first twist is very good when you expect him to get killed by the first woman played by Roxy, but yeah, then he ends up killing her. That was, like I said, a really amazing twist that I think no one saw coming. But then
well, nobody expects the tables to be turned.
yeah, but then when a new woman appears and kind of the same scenario starts playing out with her taking care of him and he acting dirty with her and all that. But at that point, you know it cannot end the same as the first
Well, no,
one.
because she starts asking questions about the previous girl, and she's got like all these questions and whatnot. You know.
Y-
and of course, she plays along with it because he offers the free hot tub moment.
yeah, so at that point you can kind of predict that she is going to kill him because if it ended the same way it ended with the first one, it would have just been repetitive. So you know something has to play out differently. So at that point it's maybe a little predictable how it's going to end.
Crow,
Although
what did you think about this short film? Did it do its job?
Kroll, you hoot, you aren't listening to us.
Or
And he's not even muted, he's just ignoring us.
I don't know.
What?
Um,
What?
what did you think about the assisted living short with the old man who?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a twist. I didn't realize it was a vampire first, or so. I mean, I liked it. Um, yeah, when he first bit the first one, I was like, "What the hell?" Yeah, yeah. I like that one. It was good.
Yeah, it really was. Do you maybe have anything to add about the previous shorts since we have been a little inactive?
No, I mean, I enjoyed watching them.
Uh, okay. And one thing I found interesting about the plot of this short is that the second woman, the second woman came asking around about the first one, but apparently it turned out that the whole time she actually knew the first woman was killed by this old guy, and she knew he was a vampire, which since he got away with it, it somehow imposes the question how exactly did this second woman know everything from the get go? Which,
Yeah, it's a mystery. That's what I'm saying. A lot of it was left unanswered. Lots of questions on all of them.
yeah, so my theory is that maybe the first woman was already suspecting something, and maybe she was there as some sort of undercover agent who maybe expected to encounter a killer but not a vampire, and maybe she was taken off guard and killed. At that point, but yeah, it still doesn't explain how the second woman knew he was a vampire of all things.
The way I look at it, these are all stories that you would see like in like the National Enquirer or like an alien had the babies of my twin Siamese cats or things of that nature. Strange stories, and that's where this type of, and it's all kind of connected to the Necronomicon, at least in my mind.
Who
uh,
to the Necronomicon? How?
well, yeah, because eventually it shows up in the second part. Which, spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen, you have to go see it first.
Yeah, you are saying that at this point when we have already spoiled the shit out of 5 of 6 shorts.
Well, people should know that we automatically kind of like analyze the film as we go.
Oh yeah, that's true. uh,
Yeah. So Joe says the second woman was a fellow nurse and friend to the first nurse. When the first nurse disappeared with no explanation, the second nurse tried doing some detective work, which
oh,
was why she started having questions. And then he says she found out who the missing nurse had last worked for and got herself a job there to try and find out more. So that's
Who? And Joe, can you tell us how the second nurse found out that the man was a vampire?
through probably through the well, she didn't quite know that, I don't think, right offhand, but she knew something happened because she wouldn't
But
just up and leave, which is the story that she was probably told, and that's why she mentioned that she wasn't that kind of person, that she wasn't the kind of person to just up and vanish. And she would definitely be following me through.
yeah.
But do we have one more short film after this then?
Yes, one more, the shortest short, titled "The Hunter." It's the shortest one. I think it's 5 minutes or so. It features this woman played by Liana Williams running through a forest, and she gets what she thinks is an attack from a mysterious woman in some kind of alien suit, and that woman is actually trying to protect her from a monster that's somewhere in the woods, but the main woman isn't listening and she's trying to break free and run away, which that kind of sends a message. Not sure if that was the intended message, but it definitely is one you can learn from this movie. When someone is trying to tell you something, just hear them out because what they want to say may actually be important. One
Well,
thing
honestly, this one is the funniest one to me out of the whole bunch because you've got this lady who becomes either she's walking or jogging in the woods. She comes across this hunter lady. She gets accosted by the hunter lady. She tells her to be quiet. She just immediately just keeps on screaming. I mean, there are people who just automatically react like entirely not the way that you think. I mean, uh, regular humans should not be reacting well, unless, I mean, to me, she just put her hand across her mouth and told her to be quiet. And she told her that there was a monster there. Of course, you don't go running and hiding behind the chainsaw saws when you're trying to get away from a killer. That type of thing.
yeah.
So she continues to scream, runs into a hunter that was actually killed on the path, and the hunter tells her, "Oh, I told you so." And then she runs a totally different way and runs into the monster, which great monster, Joe. That was probably the best monster you slapped together on a short term basis. I mean, that
Oh,
was great.
oh yeah, that monster mask was actually used in several John Sherlock's movies. It first appeared on a movie titled Eater, which I think it was on YouTube at one point. Not sure if it still is, but yeah, it really is one of the best masks in John Sherlock's
I mean,
movies.
you could tell the gun that she had was made out of foam, but to be honest, if you're looking for something Hollywood, get out of here.
Exactly.
I mean, walk the fuck out. This is an imagination. So
Oh
you
yeah.
gotta extend some kind of belief that this is actually happening, and it's great because the next moment, you have a moment flashback where if the woman tells the story to some other people, uh, 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 they're not going to believe her. And of course, you've got a small cameo from Mr. Birch in that little flashback moment. So kudos. And then of course it goes back to um, of course, he's got a little bit of a shower moment where the chick in the hunter suit, you get to see her uh, basically naked, getting that radiation treatment shower, and she comes out with some Lara Croft looking uniform form, and you got some great sci-fi. Yeah, space shower. That yeah, except without the space vacuum sucking your genital fluids out.
Yeah, a shower on a spaceship, interesting.
But it's a great little moment because I do like the fact that their humor, where they're looking for some other bounty that's on some different planet, and the spaceship looks cool. I don't know how you did that. That honestly, I've seen some sterling films with some sci-fi stuff going on, and I think that actually looked more real than some of that shoddy put together scenery that looks almost robotic in some other films. So kudos for that. But
Yeah.
that is pretty much the end of the film. But I'm going to go over to the Crow here and see what he thought of that last short film. What did you think of that last short film called The Hunter? Crow. You still
Crow,
with us?
say something.
Something.
So what did you think about The Hunter?
What?
What did you think about that last short film called The Hunter?
Yeah, I liked it. It actually gave me a little bit of an ending, so I like that even better. It didn't leave me wondering, okay, what do I have next?
Well, a lot
Uh,
of horror films end up leaving you guessing.
No,
So
really, not any I watch.
a lot of the
mm,
ones that a lot of Twilight Zone episodes leave you guessing.
I haven't
A lot
watched
of
Twilight Zone
Tales
since
from
I
the
was a kid.
Crypt.
When I wasn't
A
annoyed by not having an ending, I just came up with my own. But I'm older now, and now I want a damn ending.
well,
well, this
leaving you
movie.
to
Sorry.
mystery is actually kind of a trade a mark in something. So I actually like the aspect that you don't know everything. Everything isn't tied up in little
I don't need to know
bows.
everything. I don't need to know a damn ending.
Uh, I'm sorry though. Which shorts in this anthology did you think had unsatisfying endings? That's the part I didn't catch.
All of them except for the last one. They just didn't really have an ending. Like, what happened to the people that disappeared? Why were they disappearing? Where did they disappear to?
Ah, oh yeah. Well, I think, yeah, I think Boris takes his victims, I don't know, to some alternate dimension or something, but there is no return
I
from
always thought
there. So it,
I always thought he took them to like either purgatory or hell, either one.
yeah, I guess we can say something like that. So they have disappeared forever, never to return. Where they are, yeah, could be purgatory, hell, or something, something unnameable. But yeah, basically they are gone forever unless they have managed to escape, like my mother's character and whoever wrote the letter to her.
Well, that's why it's good to have different opinions. So,
Mm,
um,
yeah,
Yeah, like you said that like all we saw was her scream. We didn't see if she was killed, if she disappeared, or anything that happened to her. We don't even know what happened to her.
oh, but you do find out later on when Damir, my friend Mislav's character, is talking to Mira and Nevenka. He says there was a woman in that house named Petra who uh, who received a letter where she found out that there was a boy who died in that house, and in the credits, my mother is credited as Petra. And by the story, Damir is telling about a woman living there and receiving a letter and moving out. You can tell that he is talking about her and that she
Right,
survived.
right. So I mean, he does say that she got to move out, but how did she get to move out and escape, and they all disappeared?
Well, apparently, some other people have managed to escape as well, just like whoever wrote the letter to Petra also escaped. But I guess some people are not that
See,
lucky or something.
I thought that Petra disappeared after the she screamed at Boris when he came up behind her. You know, because at first she thought she was talking to her friend on the phone, but then Boris
Uh,
popped up and she screamed.
yeah, yeah, she was talking to her friend, but then Boris cut the phone call with paranormal powers. And
Yeah,
yeah, then she screamed and ran away. Okay, we didn't see her run out of the house, but we
no, we didn't.
saw her. Yeah, we saw her run away from Boris, but yeah, that did leave her fate a little bit ambiguous. So it was left ambiguous before the second part was made, which wasn't planned initially. Uh, and yeah, when I asked Joe what he imagined for the ending, is she dead or alive? He said that she is alive, that she escaped. But yeah, at that point we didn't plan to have a second part, but eventually it happened, and that was when her fate was explained. We find out that she survived, and we can also speculate. Yeah, Damir heard the story from his mother, who knows Petra, so it's possible that Damir's mother is actually the woman Petra was talking to on the phone, which wasn't in the script, it's just my speculation.
So, what do we think about the production overall?
Okay, yeah, Kroll, what do you think? Shall we start with you?
I thought it was like I said, it was better than I thought it was gonna be. It was definitely more of a B movie feel than some of the stuff that we've watched that was more like I call it Z movies, because they're like you know definitely you can tell they're shot like with a little camera in the backyard or something, so it was definitely better production than.
Oh yeah, an interesting fact. Okay, sorry, I won't interrupt. I will wait for my turn. I apologize.
It's okay. I was actually done, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what about you, Dave?
Well, now knowing that Joe was actually preparing this for Crypticon, which he had kind of a tight schedule doing it, I actually think that overall production, I actually thought it was done rather well. Um,
Oh yeah,
uh,
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 y-
I mean, your short films, a lot of the editing was done before the rest. Um, so I think uh, putting this together wasn't as tough, but having a time frame, I can see um, that it somewhat shows, but I actually like the overall look of the anthology. Since I put my name on it with Joe, I am proud of this project and the way it turned out. It's it's believable to me, and yes, we did a little bit of an animalization on each of the short films. Um, but for what they are watchable, and I definitely I think they are unique, and they're different, and that's what counts. I mean, I think it's a pretty well-rounded anthology. I mean, it is what it is. So, and it's got that creep factor going on a little bit with the creepy doll and the creepy hooded creature with
Hi.
and it's thanks to Boris that I was able to be inspired to continue his storyline.
Oh,
So
thank you. And oh, sorry, did I interrupt you?
no, I'm pretty much done with production. A lot of the music Joe does himself.
Uh,
I think we can give an all around clap to that because especially during the you can definitely tell there's kind of a soundtrack behind
uh, I'm
a track behind
uh,
beyond the corner of your eye
Okay,
segment.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but there are some things I would like to say about the production, but for that there is also a certain prop that I want to show. So you please talk a bit more about music until I get the prop from
Okay,
downstairs because that's something I really want to show. So give me a moment, I'll be back as soon as possible, and you can discuss the
well,
music in the meantime.
tell Steve that he did a very good job on the music behind that short film.
Yeah, Steve Sessions. Uh,
So yes, Steve Sessions ended up doing the music. Oh, and you had D.A. Bush and James Kelly as producers behind this as well. I know D.A. Bush. He did. I think he did Demon Messenger, and wasn't. I think he did Tales of Dracula too. Pretty sure he did a haunted house one as well, which I think I haven't watched the haunted house one yet.
oh,
I think D.A. Bush he was working on a
uh,
sequel to Tales of Dracula as well.
uh, okay, I'm back. Sorry about this. Did you guys say what you were going to say about the music?
Eh, a little bit. The music was. I especially noticed it behind the uh, short film that had Jackie Jones in it. So
Yeah, the music was done by Steve Sessions is mentioned, and I think some of it was done by Joe Sherlock himself.
yep.
Mm. And the music in Joe's movies is very characteristic. Some of the tracks appear in multiple movies, so yeah, you can kind of tell it's his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's even though it maybe gets a little repetitive sometimes, to me it's also one of the, as I like to say, spices of his movie, something that makes his movies just what they are, and if it wasn't that way, it wouldn't be the same. That's how I personally see it.
I
Now,
agree.
yeah. No, I'm sorry. There were some things I wanted to say about the production as well.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I would like to show the very camera that my Boris short was filmed with. It's this camera here.
Okay.
Uh, and also, an interesting thing about the production of Boris is there is this scene where my friend's characters are drinking beer. And Joe said he doesn't want any brand logos and things like that to appear in his movies because you never know when that can be a risk for some copyright issues,
Yeah.
lawsuits, and things like that. And so I asked him if I should just remove the labels from the beer bottles or maybe make my own beer label. And he said, "Do as you wish." And I got kind of inspired, and I designed my own beer label for this movie. And what I went to get from downstairs is this bottle, which it has this label that I designed with an owl. I used a photo of my own owl figure, one of my many owl figures. Sovino pivo, which is Croatian for owl's
It really
beer.
is, isn't it? Joe
It-
saying that it's so cool that you did your own labels and whatnot.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I designed that specifically for this movie, and as you can see, I am still keeping them. There were three bottles, and I still have all the three of them, although I brought only
Hello?
one.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Tammy. Good to have
Yeah,
you back.
He's showing off these labels that he made specifically for a scene in his Boris short film that he based off of one of his own owl figurines. What does Sovino mean?
It's in Croatian we have something that's called possessive adjective, like it means owls. Like the Croatian word for owl is sova, but if you want to say something that belongs to an owl, like owl apostrophe s, like this word here, owls. That's what Sovino means.
Okay, owl. So the plural version of owls.
Not plural, the possessive adjective, like the beer that belongs to an owl. That's
Oh, okay,
Sovino pivo. And pivo is beer.
okay.
Uh, yeah, and I wrote the year 2019, which is the year when I designed this label. Uh,
And also the year that this uh, anthology came out. So
yes, yes, and also it's interesting that you mentioned that we were kind of in a hurry to finish it until Crypticon. Yeah, that's true, and I was also very enthusiastic about getting it done on time because I really wanted it to be shown there. There were times when it was difficult to arrange the filming sessions with my friends when they were all available. And there were times when I was afraid that we might not be able to finish it on time. And I had for a short while, I had severe anxiety about it because it was really important to me to get that done. And oh yeah, another interesting detail. If you can see this moment when my friend Vedrana is putting her jogging shoes on, you can see this large wooden piece of furniture in the hallway, which it was actually there because we had just changed some furniture in the living room, and that piece of furniture was our old entertainment center that we had replaced, and we were trying to sell it, and we hadn't gotten it out of the house yet, and for a moment I thought that was going to be a problem because we needed that hallway to film that scene with my friend putting her shoes on and stuff. And I was really worried, how are we going to film that scene with this shit still being here? But then Joe said, "Hey, it's good if that thing is there uh, the story implies that Mira and Nevenka have just moved inside the house, so this piece of furniture can be there as extra evidence of them having just moved in." And I figured out, well, good point actually. So that's how that entertainment center ended up still being there.
So,
Uh,
Danny, what were your thoughts on the production overall of this anthology? Are you there?
Tommy parking.
Oh,
maybe Tammy
I
has
just hit it.
joined
I
us
just hit it. I
unknowingly.
am there. Yes.
Okay,
Thank
we
you.
will wait.
we'll come back to her.
Oh, oh, she muted herself, so maybe she. Okay, well, aside from rambling about my own part of the production, I should give my thoughts on the production of other shorts as well, right?
Well,
Uh,
an overall
I
perspective.
Yeah, I thought the production was really good for what it is. I mean, it's as we have already said, it's a B movie, and in this type of movies, we do not expect perfection. But to me personally, since I have seen most of Joe Sherlock movies except for the newest few, I was actually able to follow the improvement of his filming techniques. Like I saw his old shot on video movies, which were in terms of technical quality were not nearly as good as the new ones. Okay, don't get me wrong, the stories were still good, which makes the old movies by all means worth watching as well. And I love his old movies, don't get me wrong. But in terms of production, the technical quality, you can see in these new movies, you can see huge improvement compared to the old ones, especially the blood and some effects like that are much better and much more realistic. There are some cool props, especially the doll in Joseph Vogel's short, and yeah, the props in Jackie Neeman's short, yeah, the Necronomicon and this yellow piece of paper with the wax seal, and you can also see at Jackie's place some props from one of the Hands of Fate, which is a really cool nod to that movie. And yeah, the fake blood in the bath, which is really properly terrifying, and special respect to Dana Rooney for how well she played that creepy psycho killer character. Um, and yeah, okay, we have already discussed the plot twist in assisted living. And of course, once more, I have to mention the monster masks and alien masks in The Hunter, which is really amazing. And Actually, the scenery of the spaceship is done quite well too, in my opinion. So yeah, regarding the fact that this is not a professional movie, that it's made by regular people like you and me. Well, one of the shorts actually was made by me. So yeah, I think regarding those facts, I think the production is really good. And tell me, if you can hear us, what can you say about the production?
Can you hear us?
Okay, maybe she can hear us, but maybe she cannot respond because of some glitches.
Yeah, there's got to be some glitches or whatnot wherever she
Ye-
is.
Yeah, Tammy, the audio from you is horrible. If you are saying anything, we are not able to distinguish a single word. We are just receiving some noise.
Alrighty, I'm gonna try calling her.
Ooh, good.
Yeah.
All right, can you hear her?
I kept trying to get on, and every time I got on, I couldn't hear you guys at all. So we got to make it quick
Actually,
until we get back with somebody. So
All right. So what did you think about production?
I thought production was pretty good. It was better than I thought. Like Carl had said earlier, that I thought it would be. Yeah, it was enjoyable. Good job, Boris.
thank you.
And favorite scene or scenes or favorite short film from the anthology?
You don't necessarily have to choose my short only because I'm here.
She likes when you're walking behind your mom.
Oh, thank you.
Was that your favorite scene from the anthology then?
Yeah.
Yep. Bye bye.
Oh wow! Thank you, Tabby. And do you have anything to say about the music?
Not really. I wasn't really listening too much to the music, but I am at work, so I gotta get back to work. So I just wanted to get my last 2 cents in there, you know.
Alrighty, talk to you later, honey.
Thank you,
Love
Tabby.
Bye.
Bye.
And you guys have already talked. Oh, perfectly fine. Thank you for calling her so she can say about the production and favorite scenes.
Why is
Okay,
it scenes?
yeah, the rest of us didn't say favorite scenes either, and she didn't say her favorite character either.
She said it was you.
Oh, well, thank you. Then I'm sorry I didn't hear that part. Thanks, Tabby.
Favorite scene and our favorite character.
Well, honestly, yeah, I mean they're all pretty good, but I guess I kind of like Forrest's little speech like that. I'm not saying because he's here, because everybody knows. I tell it like it is, you know. I'll tell you if you suck, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I like Forrest's scenes, and so Forrest is my favorite character.
Wow, thank
And
you.
now
So
you can see why I was. Now you can see why I was inspired by his character.
wow, well, thank you. So you guys are really not saying it only because I'm your friend and because I'm here. You actually.
No, Boris, it totally sucked. We just got you on the show so that we can tell you how bad you were.
Oh.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
I
You
know,
I
I know. Of course.
This is Boris's hour of shame. No, just kidding. Everybody's got to have their own day of roasting.
Fair enough.
But in any case,
a roast on Dave, so you know that could take a while.
So
it's slow cooking.
Okay, so thank you both for calling me your favorite character, and what would be your favorite scenes or shorts?
Well, I already said that. I said your short was your favorite short.
Thank you.
Honestly,
Even
I like a
And
little bit of
that
everything.
was the last one because it had the damn ending.
uh, so my short was your favorite in spite of the subtitles.
I don't think the titles were wrong. Were bad.
Oh yeah, but you generally don't like movies with subtitles.
Oh, the subtitles. Well, yeah, but I had no choice but to have subtitles because I don't know what the fuck you said. I don't know Croatian, so you know.
Uh, okay,
For
yeah,
all
maybe
intents
I
and
can.
purposes, your mom and you could have been swearing throughout the entire thing, and then you know
Yeah, but
the subtitles, you know,
Uh, I was
not
just about to
not that
say,
I'm not that that would be the truth of anything. I'm sure you guys were saying exactly what you were saying.
yeah, yeah, we weren't swearing on screen. Maybe there is some swearing in the bloopers. No, not maybe. There is swearing in the bloopers. And apologies for that once again. Like I said, I never expected the bloopers to be published. So yeah, apologies for that.
what were the bloopers on it at?
The bloopers are on this DVD.
Oh, see, I never got the bloopers, so.
Well, if you are interested in seeing them, but yeah, the bloopers are not subtitled. I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
But
that won't help me very much because I don't know if you're swearing or saying I love you. So you know.
oh, thank you. Well, if you want the bloopers, I'm willing to share them with you, of course.
Well, I'll go next as far as favorite scenes. I did like the story beyond the corner of your eye. Not just because you had an amazing horror actress being involved in this movie, um, but it does help that she added a little class to it, and um, it all worked out on screen very well. And I do like the theatrical moments in Bath. And I definitely like the space shower scene. Um, I mean, she comes out like a badass Lara Croft like character. And I like the fact that you got some alien heads like in some cages and whatnot like in the background. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
and so I like a little bit more than just Boris's, but I was inspired by Boris's character to continue the story. I, I I guess I personally like this one because you're involved in it, Boris.
Thank
Um,
you.
not
Thank
that
you a lot.
I'm trying to play favoritism. um, but in any case, what about your thoughts? What is your favorite moment or moments or favorite character from this anthology yourself?
Well, of course, I am very sentimentally attached to my own short, so I cannot be objective about it, so I will keep my short out of this. Although maybe I can pick the scene of my friends watching Felicia Pandolfi on screen. Okay, I'm just kidding. My favorite scenes, well, one scene I would have to name is the twist in assisted living when we find out the apparently incapacitated old man is actually a vampire and completely physically healthy. That was a very good plot twist that I really didn't expect. So that would have to be my favorite I also liked in the doll. I liked the scenes of the doll moving. Yeah, because that's one of the scarier parts of the anthology and really well done.
I like
And
the
I
part
like,
of the POV moments where you could see from the vision of the doll.
oh yeah,
Those are the moments that
yeah,
I like.
indeed, that was also amazing. And yeah, all the scenes when we see all the monster masks. There is one in beyond the corner of the eye when this weird paranormal creature is summoned, which is yet another Joe Sherlock mask, which is actually on the front cover of the DVD. Not sure how well you can see it, but yeah, this is the creature from beyond the corner of the eye. And yeah, there are the masks in The Hunter, which we have already said how amazing they all are. And yeah, uh, I think that would I think that would be it regarding my favorite scenes. Now, if there is one thing I would still like to say about one funny anecdote I would like to share about the production of my short, if you don't mind.
Sure, go right ahead.
Uh, Thank you. The scene when my friends were summoning Boris and they were lighting a candle. That scene was filmed in two sessions. We filmed one part, but then my friends had to go and we had to film a few remaining clips another time. But if you remember this blue lighter that was used to light the candle, that for the first session, that lighter was brought by my friend Fika, my assistant director, and next time when they were coming, he no longer had that lighter, and it was important since the lighter was left on the table, and I was. Even though Joe isn't really that picky, not every single detail is matching. But since that lighter was left on the table, in this remaining clip we had to shoot, it was important for the lighter to still be on the table. Like I said, Joe maybe wouldn't care, but I was a little bit obsessive compulsive about it to make it to keep
You,
it
I
all
don't believe,
consistent. Sorry, what?
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
With how messy your room is right now, young man.
Sorry, what did you say? My
I
room?
said, with how messy your room is right now, young man.
Actually, it's horribly messy, which, yeah, not every case of OCD is about tidiness and cleanliness for those who don't know. But yeah, my desk right now is horribly messy, which fortunately cannot be seen on webcam. Uh, but yeah, so while my friends were on their way to me to film this remaining part, I actually bugged my mother to go to a nearby store and buy an identical lighter so that we can have it on screen to keep it consistent with the previous shots. Yeah, so we still have that lighter somewhere, and we keep it as another memory of our Boris filming adventures.
As you should. And then you can be able to display it with the rest of your large Joe Sherlock collection.
Oh, yeah, true, actually. Oh, if
But
you. Sorry, what?
is there anything else that anyone one else here would like to add about the anthology before we end our discussion?
Oh, well, if you. Yeah, we have been here for a long time, that's true, but I I'd like to see. I have this old binder here, and I'd like to see if I maybe have some Boris props here to show, if you don't mind.
Sure. And Joe said, I am flattered by the time and thought you have put into discussing this movie. Thank you so much.
Oh,
And Joe, it's
oh,
been a pleasure. Even though I was mostly just a little bit of the money behind it, I am glad that we were able to come on and discuss it in our own way, the way that we discussed it. And hopefully, you didn't mind any of the commentary that I made or anybody else made. So,
yeah, Joe, thank you for still being with us.
I mean, for as long as he's been watching us, we should have just invited him on. We could have had him along.
Why?
Well, it's still not too late if he wants to join.
It's a little.
I,
I'm sure
I by all means wouldn't mind.
But yeah, Joe, I sent out three things to you this last Friday. Sorry, it got to you late. They should be arriving to you either this week or the next. You know how Kanaki actually works.
Yeah, I actually did find some. Oh, oh yeah. Sorry about this, but yeah, I really want to show some of these props. I have found a few here and remembered where I have a few more. So yeah, what I have here is okay. This is not a prop, but here is a postcard I received with my copies of Dark Zone 13. Uh, Here is from the scene when my mother's character is picking up mail from the mailbox. If you remember, aside from the letter where she found out about the history of Boris, there was some random mail, and among other things, there was this catalog, which is a random catalog from a local store, which in the meantime, since the movie was made, this store no longer exists. And funnily
you might as
enough,
well keep on to it.
sorry, what?
You might as well hold on to it for memory's
Well, I
sake.
am holding on to it, as you can see. And funnily enough, one of the prices in this catalog, not sure how well you can see it on camera.
888, 995.
Yeah, there is 1666.
Oh,
Oh, I see that.
there is.
Yeah, believe me or not, I never noticed that until now. Somehow, I never noticed that until now.
The sign of the devil was in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Do, 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 do.
And yeah, I'm sorry, I have to get an envelope out from this cabinet where I have some other items. Just give me a few seconds, I will get it.
Might as well. This is the time for show and tell.
Ooh. So, not this, it's not this. Oh, I'm sorry. I have this cabinet is a little cluttered and it's difficult to find what I am looking for. But yeah, I found it. Uh,
Yep. And
okay, so I have a lot of random stuff
here's my
here.
copy of Dark Zone Part 2.
Oh, cool. Okay, so here is the mail that my mother's character received. You can see I even wrote the addresses. Here you can see Marko Tomic, which was the name of Petra's husband in the movie. And
It's amazing
here,
that you kept all the mail that was in there too.
thank you. Yeah, most of it is random stuff, but on some I wrote the address. Yeah, Petra Tomic, as you can see. And here we actually have the very letter that my mother was reading that she received that tells the story of Boris. And I hand wrote it myself back then, and yeah, it actually contains the whole text she reads on screen. Well, not on screen, she just recorded herself, the audio of herself reading it.
Very cool.
Thank you. I do have some props somewhere else around the house, but yeah, I didn't quite go to gather everything for this discussion. It would have consumed even more time if I did. Apologies for that.
Guys complain about how long I take. 2.5 hours, and the movie's 120 minutes. Just saying.
Yeah, that's true.
He had a lot to say about this and a lot of memorabilia to show off. So this
Again,
is.
I don't want to say nothing next time I go on.
I'm still going to complain.
Fair enough. Sorry, Dave, what did you say?
I said I'm still going to complain. You.
Well, okay, I am not going to complain because this discussion taking so long is my fault, but Dave is still
resent
allowed
that
to
remark.
complain.
As the great as the great Marx brother would say.
Yeah, so sorry for rambling so much. Sorry for showing off so much. Oh yeah. Okay, just one more thing I'd like to show.
I can show off. That's all.
Yeah, I am a bit of a show off, I guess. Okay, this is.
the Joe Sherlock newsletter that probably announced everything for the movie, correct?
What I'm holding right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, no. This time I wanted to show something different.
Oh, okay.
A while ago, I was making this framed picture of Total Evil for some other video project I was doing, unrelated to Joe Sherlock's movies. But it's a non-commercial project, by the way, just so you know that no one attacks me for copyright and stuff. It was for a non-commercial project, but
You
I
know
wasn't.
what I was thinking. What would you have said if Joe Sherlock had somehow found a way after the lady who looked in the mirror in Bath, the main actress, and suddenly Felicia Pandolfi's appearance appeared in the mirror?
Oh, wait, sorry. In what scene?
If Felicia Pandolfi's appearance appeared in the mirror when she was looking in the mirror, what would you have said if Joe had somehow randomly got that to happen?
Oh, I would have been by all means amazed, definitely. Yeah. So what I was going to say, yeah, I made this prop for a project of mine, but I wasn't sure which picture I was going to frame. That one that I showed, or another one that I made with AI, which is this one. it's an AI generated picture of total evil, and she is wearing something kind of similar to my hood. Well, she's wearing a black whale. It's not quite the same, but I'm very proud of how this picture turned out regarding the fact that it's just AI. So, yeah, I wanted to show it.
Cool. Well,
Thank
on that
you.
note, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed our discussion on the Dark Zone 13 anthology. I certainly did. Let us know down in the comments what you thought of the film, what you thought of our discussion, whether you have seen the movie. If you haven't, you should contact Joe Sherlock over at um, I would say skullastronaut.com.
Skullface
Skullface Astronaut.
astronaut.
Skullfaceastronaut.com. I believe you can still pick up copies of both Dark Zone 13 uh, and Part 2 and many of his other films. If you have not, I believe that David Sterling has many of his films for sale on his Kunaki page, as well as I believe you can still get a ton of Joe Sherlock's films in some very cool box sets from
Oh,
David Sterling himself. So,
yeah, very true. And also, many Joe Sherlock's movies, including Dark Zone 13, were available, or maybe I guess probably still are, unless they were taken down for any reason
I
as a
believe,
video on demand on Vimeo. So for those who do not prefer to buy physical copies, who prefer to stream movies digitally, you can
even if
there.
even if Makeflix isn't still selling the box sets, you can still get them from David Sterling, from what I understand. So,
Yeah, and they are available. I think they are still available for rent or purchase in digital format on Vimeo, which
correct.
yeah, which it's also cheaper than DVDs. And yeah, some people prefer physical copies, some prefer to stream things digitally. So yeah, both options are available.
Yep. So, like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully, you'll be back with us next week. I believe we're going to be going with a choice from Tammy. We'll be covering, I believe, the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
But we already did the first one.
Did we?
Yes, a while ago.
Well, we didn't do it with Tammy, so I don't mind doing it again.
So
For
what
real.
movie?
The first Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh yeah, I was not here for that either.
So,
For real.
um, yep.
Wow.
So definitely keep a lookout for that. And we'll see you next time here on Delusions of Grandeur. Thank you so much, and enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon, everyone. And sorry once again for rambling as much as I did.
See you later, Joe.